Hello and welcome to the Revived Yarns podcast. I am Emily and I am here to talk about knitting, though not very much of that, a lot of spinning, and quite a few acquisitions. So this week, April, it's been almost 2 weeks now. April 2nd and 3rd, I went to the Whidbey Island Weavers Guild annual spin-in. This is the first time they've been back since 2019 because they had to cancel the 2021 at the last minute. So this is my first time going and it was so much fun. I was able to bring my little gem spinning wheel from Majacraft and we just spun. I brought some Rolex and then some of the Spanish Merino that I'm spinning and just spun that, chatted with people. And then they had a marketplace, so I bought a lot of things. My spinning and my acquisition sections will kind of blend because I've started spinning a lot of what I bought. In fact, I finished spinning one bump of fiber that I bought. So yes, I definitely put it to use right away. So there were two classes by Michael Kelson. He's Spin Possible on Instagram. And he taught about, I guess I'll just show these finished objects now since I'm talking about it. He taught about using silk to make tweed effects in yarn. So I worked on this skein. This is actually some purple merino, I did the pink merino with the sari silk, and then the purple merino with, I don't remember if it was Erie silk or possibly he said Mugga silk. I can't remember now. But I just did those into one skein. I just plied them with themselves, so 2-ply, and then just kept the skeins together for washing and setting the twist. And so we learned to use hand cards, but also to use just by pulling the fibers apart, laying them, rolling them up into faux legs. So this was another one. This was actually a much more yellow looking merino, and this blue sari silk really kind of changed the color to quite a bit darker. And then there was also, he'd given us a lot of different samples of sari silk and other things, and I didn't have time to spin them all while I was there. But when I got home, I just took some of the merino that I have and put the yellow, plus flecks of all sorts of other colors, but mainly yellow, sari silk, and did this skein. So my idea with these is to do a small, like, tapestry weaving type thing, but I have no set plans yet. But I did get these all done after I got back, and it was very enjoyable to try different techniques and see them demonstrated in person, because normally if I want to try something I just look it up on YouTube. I think my sweater might be on backwards, fitting weird at the neck. But it was so much fun to go to the marketplace because I found a lot of fiber producers in this area for some reason on the peninsula don't have a great internet presence, so I have never heard of a lot of the places I got from, and it was so fun to go through and feel the fibers and see the different preparations. I got some carded stuff as well as some merino top. I got silk. Yeah, I basically bought something from almost every booth there except for my local yarn shop because I already shop at them a lot. So that was the spin-in. It was so fun. I stayed in a hotel by myself. It's like one of the first times I've been away from my kids since 2019, and yeah, it was very nice. So otherwise, it was spring break after I got back. My mom came to visit for a couple of days, and then I did a ton of gardening because we had really nice spring weather. We're back down to the 30s, so I hope that the flowers I planted survive It's been warming up into the 50s during the day, so hopefully the short bursts of cold weather aren't too bad for them. So what I'm wearing is the City Limits by Tanis Lavallee from Tanis Fiber Arts, and it's a fade. So I used reclaimed merino is the white, and then I held reclaimed double strands of cashmere, and then I would drop one of the lightest green, add the second green, etc. I'm sure you know how to do a fade. But I used reclaimed cashmere for the colors. And then this last one, or the last two possibly, were reclaimed merino, because I didn't have a dark enough green in the cashmere. It is very comfortable. I did a size 8 needle for the body and a size 4 for the ribbing. I'm a very loose knitter with the ribbing, and so I have to go down quite a few needle sizes to get a ribbing that sits right. And I made a size 48-inch chest, but I believe my gauge was looser, so I'd made a smaller size, and I have lots of positive ease. I made this in 2020. I think I started in June and finished it in September. I do not work on things monogamously, so I'm sure I missed knitting lots of other things then. So my current whips, or the ones I've worked on since last time, is the Optic blanket. I just finished the 8th square, so I didn't cast on another one because it's way easier to show when there's not needles attached. I really like how it's turning out, and I just wound the last ball of the dark blue. I'm hoping to get 8 more squares, but I don't remember how much it took. So we'll see. I mean, I'll do another row, see what it's like. It'll be a good size for baby blanket, and I do have more of the light blue than of the dark blue. So I will probably cast on and do a border around the whole thing to use up the light blue, and it'll be a good size for baby blanket. Okay, and then I only brought one knitting project to the spin-in because I was doing mostly spinning, but I knew I'd have time either while listening to lesson and waiting for the next assignment for spinning, as well as time in the hotel to knit. So I brought my stripy cashmere cowl and made quite a bit of progress on it. So this was where I was the first time I showed it. And then I think that's been like 2 podcasts ago because I wasn't working on it very much. And this is from 3 colors of cashmere that I recycled from one sweater. And they just blend really nicely in these stripes. And I'm doing helical knitting. I said jogless last time, which it is a jogless type of knitting, but it's technically helical knitting. So you knit around, drop that strand 1 or 2 stitches before the next one, slip those stitches. There's really good videos on YouTube if you want more understandable instructions. So that one I worked on quite a bit. It was really nice just to do that without, you don't need to think when you're doing it, really. And then as one of my goals of using up stash, I decided to use up the rest of this Cascade Luminosa. It was like, I had 1 skein plus like a third of a skein. So I cast on a cabled scarf, but I forgot how much yarn scarves take, so it definitely won't be long enough. So it will be more like a, I don't even know what you would call them, but anyway, it'll like, I'll put buttons at the front or something to close it, or just use, it's beautiful. So I just made up this design, and what I wanted to do was have it reversible. So there's 4 cables on this side, and then there's just these spots of kind of bumpy reverse stockinette, and then you turn it around and there's 3 cables and bumpy stockinette because that's the other side of the cables. Anyway, it's turning out really beautiful. and the fabric is so nice. I have about half a skein left, maybe less, and it's like this right now. So this will actually be a good length for tucking inside a coat. I was planning on doing it as a gift since I already made a shawl with some of this. We'll see how long it is and if it's kind of weird to give as a gift when it's not an actual scarf. All right, so those are all the things I've actually worked on. I still have my sweater and the blanket work in progress, but I haven't actually done anything on those. I did, however, when my mom was here, she likes to go to our thrift stores because she's from a very small town and doesn't have any in her town. So I bought a crock pot so I could dye some fiber. And I dyed some fiber. So the first one I dyed, I have a bunch of bare yarn I talked about before from BJS Fibers. I'd ordered when they were doing a big sale. And I dyed this Corriedale cross. Well, my daughter helped me. So mostly purples, because that's her favorite. It's a lot of variation in it. And it's looking more brown than purple, but it's mostly purple and some red. And I think I did 4 ounces of this. And then I had this, I purchased some bare Falkland from Island Fibers at the spin-in. And I put it in with mostly orange. And then after the orange set, I just squirted in some random bits of blue. So I've got some variation in that as well. Because I really like spinning with ones that kind of are variegated. So this was almost 4 ounces as well. And then I had bare merino. And I had a bunch of mixed up food, because I use food coloring and vinegar. And I'd mixed up some purple because my daughter wanted to use that, and I had some left over. So I braided it up, or did the crochet chain, the fiber braids. And then I soaked it so it was all soaked through, and then I just blobbed on the coloring. So this is of course re-braided, so it's not, but it looked like it was all purple. And then when I undid the braid, because of the way it was too tight for it to penetrate, I've got all these white spots. So I'm excited to see how this spins up. Or possibly will be made into Rolex, because I love spinning Rolex. So that was 3 dyeing projects, which was very fun. I haven't dyed yarn in ages. All right, so spinning. I have done a lot of spinning. So there was the silk tweed samples, and then I bought a bump of fiber from a place called Phoenixx Fibers, based in Sequim, Washington. And I grew up in Forks, Washington, so it's really close by. And it was very cool because it's from local Pacific Northwest sheep. And then she blended it with some silk and bamboo, I believe. It was a really pretty color. So I did that. It was a carded roving, spun up beautifully. Oh, it's Phoenixx Fibers with 2 X's, and I think she does have an Etsy shop, but there is that, what is the word, Etsy strike going on. So I don't think she has a separate website. And I'm not even sure if she has fiber up right now because of the spin-in and other events coming up, I think. So anyway, I spun this up and then I 3-plied it. That is just blowing out. It's much more purple than pink, but it's having a really hard time showing what it actually is. But it's the same weight as a light, almost a lavendery purple that I did recently. So I think I'm going to use those together to make something. I don't know what. I don't really wear these colors, so possibly something for my daughter or as a gift. And then I had this on a bobbin for a while. I probably showed it at some point, but they were Rolex I made with my daughter. They have sparkly bits in them, and this, I just did a 2-ply with this. And then I have 6 bobbins. So it's slightly ridiculous that I have 5 current spinning projects. So one of the most fun, I bought raw locks from Island Fibers. And this is, I think she called it like an island blend or something. It's from a sheep that's just a cross of several, so it didn't have an actual name. But look at those. The tips are like this golden color, and then it's gray and a little bit dark at the ends, and it's so soft. So it was raw. I bought 4 ounces and then washed it when I got home, and which was a process. I just used Dawn dish soap and really hot water, let it soak, drained it, another one, and it's just so fluffy. But this staple length is so long and it's so bouncy. So I have a whole bag of these locks ready to go, and I'm flick carding them. So I've got these dog brushes from the dollar store, and you just lay it on your leg and you just very softly flick it until it's all fluffy. And I'm not going to do it all because I didn't clean it as well as I probably should have, and so a lot of stuff falls out. Oh, there's some vegetable matter. I mean, I got a lot of the big pieces of vegetable matter out, but it's very dusty, and we have a lot of allergies in the house, so I'm only doing it outside. So that has been something very new. So I have, the other day when we had really nice weather, I went outside and I flicked a bunch of them. So these are all the flick carded locks, and they get so fluffy and lofty, and they're like air. And the staple length is so long that, but I wanted it more of a woolen spun because it's so fluffy and there's already so much air in it. So what I'm doing is spinning from the fold. So I take from here, and so it all kinds of folds over itself. And this is how much I've spun, because I'm also spinning it outside because of the allergies and stuff. So here is the single, and I think I'm probably going to do a 2-ply. That's a ply back sample. Really hard to see, but it's so fun to spin, and there's still a lot of lanolin in it, maybe a little bit of grease, but it's so pleasant. I mean, it's just so fluffy. So next year, Island Fibers is out on the San Juan Islands. You have to take a ferry to get there, which I did talk to my husband about. Maybe we need to go out there, but I'm not even sure she has a shop. She doesn't have much of an online presence. So I think next year I'm going to be buying it by the pound because it's really fun. And also with preparing the locks myself, it's takes longer to get it done, because like this bump that was already prepared, I mean, I did this in like 3 days, and I think it was 5 something ounces of fiber, and it just goes by so fast. But having it from the locks, it's just really fun to do that whole process. Also takes longer, spreads out the joy. All right, and then I have, oops, let's see, my next spinning one. Oh, I have been working on that Spanish Merino, and I'd split it in 2 braids, or 2 halves, because I'm going to do a 2-ply. This, I rewound it onto these bobbins from my e-spinner that are giant, because I only have so many of these bobbins. Like I said, 6 and too many projects. So I started spinning the second half on this bobbin. It's also really nice. I figured out a way to do it really evenly, so it's going to be really nice to ply this on my e-spinner. It was also fast to rewind it, much faster than winding it onto a toilet paper roll, which is what I was doing before that. I also, this was the first one I did on the spare bobbin. This is a ton of roll legs. I spun a lot of these at the spin-in, and then moved them off so I could use my bobbin for something else. And I'm going to ply it with this that I also bought at the spin-in. It's a Cormo carded, oh, so fluffy. Ooh, it's carded roving from, let's see, it's from Mount Hood View Farm in Oregon. And they were there. And this is 5 ounces, and it's huge because there's so much air in this. Because these are from Rolex, they're woolen prep. And so I needed woolen prep to hold with, because I don't, the only other bare yarns I have are top, and that would be worsted prep, which is different. So I'm going to spin this and then hold them double. And my daughter has designed a dress that she wants, and she drew me a picture, which I will show to you. So I'm going to try and recreate this. I've definitely got the colors. So this is, she says she wants a sparkly something at the neck, A-line, lots of colors, and then she wants rainbow fringe or rainbow banner, I guess, at the bottom. So very detailed, as you can tell. And I will be hopefully making that for her out of that. I have lots of other scraps of yarn that I can use if I don't have enough. Another thing that I wanted to try was silk hankies, which I've never used before. And there was someone selling them, and Michael Kelson demonstrated how to prep them, I guess. So I bought 50 grams of silk hankies in this beautiful bright blue. And this stuff, it's so soft, but also if your hands are all dry, these little fibers just stick. So it's a little bit hard to do the prep work. And I haven't done very much, but I think I've done 3 or 4 hankies. And here it is. And I think I have some Rolex that I made that are black merino with sari silk mixed in. I blended in with it. And I might have this be one of the plies with it, possibly. We'll see, because it's a similar color to the sari silk, and that would be fun. Otherwise, I might just apply it with itself and use it for some, well, I don't know. Silk doesn't really have any memory or bounce or anything, so we'll see. Another bump of fiber that I bought was from a new mill that is opening up in Port Townsend area. It's the Compass Rose Farms, Compass Rose Mill, and it's this Icelandic and alpaca blend. I think it's like 10% alpaca, and mostly Icelandic. It's super soft, and I have started spinning up some to this. I will probably do a 2-ply. I should weigh actually and find out so I can do 2 different bobbins. Since I watched a very educational video about how if you ply from the inside and the outside of the ball, it changes your twist. So separating it out. It's really fun to spin. It does have a lot of vegetable matter in it. So I'm trying to spin that outside as well, because my house is dirty enough and I don't need more. So if the weather would get better, I could spin a bunch of this stuff outside. All right, and then, yes, I showed Spanish Merino. Okay, I switched around my order and my notes, and now I'm trying to see if I remembered everything. Yes, so other acquisitions that I got was I won a door prize, which was very exciting because I never win anything, from Madhatter Fibers in Olympia, Washington. And the door prize was a bag of little fun things. So there were these tiny little bats that they had in there. Super fun. I should have added these to my daughter's mix. I might have to spin these up and add that, because these are similar colors. And then it included a bunch of these Corriedale locks that are dyed in all these fun colors. And I had actually already, there's Mad Hatter, I had already purchased some of these because I'd gone shopping before they started door prices, and had already purchased about an ounce of those, and then there was probably another ounce in the bag, so I had a bunch of them. I'm not sure what I'm going to do with them. I might try the flick carding with them, or put them in felting projects or weaving projects, who knows. I just thought they looked really fun. And then I bought this braid of BFL that they dyed in these really nice purpley and neutral shades. Very pretty, very soft. I really like spinning with BFL. And then I shopped at Siren of the Skeins because they were doing silk stuff. So I was like, I'm going to buy some more silk. So this is 2 ounces of sari silk. Yes, sari silk. It's not as, a lot of the sari silk you see is a lot of little or bigger chunks of fiber, but this is much finer, maybe. They shredded it finer or something. And this great orange. I was actually thinking about maybe doing some blending with these two. Maybe some of the natural stuff. And then I also bought this airy silk. Very large amount of it. I kind of went overboard. And so it's very soft, and it's just like this sheet of fibers. And because they're long fibers, I probably will have to cut them if I decide to use them for roll legs. But yes, very soft, very pretty. That's another thing of silk. And then I bought from Island Fibers. They were selling some things from other people as well. And this is from Tailored Fibers in Quilcene, Washington. And it's a Romney Merino blend bump of carded fiber. Like, I love spinning roll legs and carded fiber. It is so fun to do that long backwards draw. So this is another natural color. I kind of went for a lot of natural colors and then some really bright silks. So I should do some more blending. And then I got BJS Fiber Creations. Is Barbara J. Sealer. I got a braid of Merino Tencel blend. I think it's 50% Merino, 50% Tencel. So it's very shiny. And I already started breaking up because I thought I might spin this next. So I had taken it apart and started drafting some of it as well, because she recommended that with this it compacts really a lot. So a lot of drafting is helpful when spinning. And also from her, when I was doing the long backwards draft, someone said that I must love spinning cotton. And I was like, I've never spun cotton before. So they said, oh, that draft is great for cotton. So I bought some cotton. This is just this plain cotton. And cotton has very short fibers. So yeah, very, very short. So what I plan to do when I finish some of these other projects, I'll try spinning straight from the top or this preparation. I don't know what you call it when it's cotton. And then I probably will end up blending it into roll legs because short fibers are really good for woolen prep and doing roll legs. So that's my plan. And I think that's actually it. That went way faster than I thought it would. Didn't have any finished objects, which probably helped. And now I have a huge mess around me. My husband's working from home today, so I had to do it up in the bedroom. And my bed is covered. But I really wanted to get this done because this stuff has just been sitting downstairs in my knitting area waiting for me to podcast because I didn't want to put it away and then have to dig it out again. So it's all just been bagged up and waiting for me to actually do a podcast. But with spring break and work we were having done on the house and all that stuff, I just didn't have time. So yes, I hope you enjoyed seeing all this, and it was just seriously so fun to go in person to a fiber event and purchase things in person. It's funny actually, because I spent quite a bit of money and bought a lot of things, and I was realizing that when I shop online, I always look for deals, and I compare prices and look at how much fiber I'm getting per in an ounce for however much money, and if I get it cheaper somewhere else and stuff. But it's like when I'm there in person and talking to these people that have worked so hard to prepare such beautiful stuff, it was like my mind was like, well, they came all this way, just buy something. So yeah, I bought something from almost every fiber person there. And yeah, so maybe the next fiber event I might, because most of them accept a credit card, and next time I might have to bring cash to keep myself to a limit. But there is an event, Fiber Fusion Northwest, I think, is coming up in Monroe, Washington in June. I may go for the marketplace there. I thought about going overnight again, but all their classes are sold out already. I'd had 2 that I thought about doing, and then when I went back, it was sold out. So I might just drive down for the marketplace. I think it's an hour and a half probably drive from me. So that would be really fun to go. We'll see how much of what I bought already I'll have spun up, because I also just placed an order with Edgewood Garden Studios for some Merino tri-label nylon or something like that. It's dark brown and it's sparkly, and I purchased it thinking I would use it for the other strand of this, but I think the dark brown won't go as well as the light. So now I'm just having, I think it's like 20 ounces. It was a great deal. I'm having 20 ounces sent to me, and I'll use it for something. And then a braid of Cheviot and blackface wool in this really nice green color called Mirkwood. So yeah, I definitely didn't need to order more fiber. But the last few days have been weird, and I wanted, apparently, some retail therapy. So I also went out to the store yesterday, and even though we currently have no washer and dryer hooked up, I bought all new towels, because that makes sense. I didn't like our old towels, and so I thought, I'm gonna go buy new ones. So I went to Home Goods and bought new towels. I should probably actually go to the laundromat today and wash those, because we do a Ridwell pickup. They do recycle things that you can't recycle elsewhere, and also collect things that they then distribute to places they can use them. So they're doing towels and blankets this week for an animal rescue place in Everett, possibly. So I just donated a bunch of our old towels I didn't like. They will be put to good use, and I don't have to use them anymore. Anyway, that was a tangent. I hope you have a wonderful day, and that you enjoy your crafting as much as I've been enjoying mine. And also that you can find some peace and rest in the chaos. Have a great week, and hopefully I will be back soon.